handfuls of purpose brought this seeker to the cross.
Good day, friends. My name is Ray Vaughn, and it's my privilege to be on this program today to share with you my story behind my song, Handfuls of Purpose, which was recorded back in the mid-1980s by the McKamey's, and a song that God has used far more than I ever dreamed. This is a song that is intended to magnify the sovereign purpose of God, as well as the God of sovereign purpose. And it's taken from the story of Ruth in the book of Ruth, chapter 2, in verses 14 and 15, which I'll read now from the King James Bible. Now, I have to express it being King James Bible because I've noticed recently that other versions changed the narrative so greatly that the song would not make any sense to you if you are reading from those versions. So I'd suggest a King James version, if you may, at least for this song. In Ruth chapter 2 and verse 15, and when she was risen up to glean, Boaz commanded his young men, saying, let her glean even among the sheaves, and reproach her not. And let fall also some of the handfuls of purpose for her, and leave them, that she may glean them, and rebuke her not. This text says that Boaz gave the instruction, let fall some of the handfuls of purpose. Now, there's a big difference between on purpose and of purpose. To say on purpose would mean that to do something intentionally, but the word of purpose speaks of something far greater than that. It speaks of the intent of Boaz's heart in the matter. Boaz viewed this Moabitish woman gleaning in his field, and something moved in his heart toward her. He saw her, he desired to know her, desired to have her as his wife, and he set out pursuing her to bring her to the knowledge of himself. And so we find in the text of the story, Boaz gave instruction to let handfuls of grain, which were of purpose, fall in her path, and let her glean them. So Ruth went home with an apron full of grain, where the other ladies that were gleaning in the field had perhaps a meager fare. She was treated in a special manner for a special reason. And when you look at the book of Ruth altogether, the story of Ruth, there's a great deal that indicates the sovereign hand of God working effectually to bring all of this to pass. More than Boaz's intent is the intent of God to bring Ruth and Boaz together. One little verse I found in chapter 2 and verse number 3 speaks about, as Ruth went out into the field to glean, her hap, H-A-P, her hap was to glean in the field of Boaz, who happened to be Naomi's kinsman redeemer. There's no such thing as happenstance with God. He makes all these things happen. I believe that God still does the same today. He is working effectually in every step I take, in every breath that I breathe. God is sovereignly at work to bring about his will in me. In this song, the first verse deals with Ruth gleaning in the field and Boaz seeing her and letting fall some of the handfuls of purpose in her way. The second verse deals with me. It's my testimony of how that I was a sinner and just sort of gleaning in the world, grasping here and there a morsel, seeking in vain to satisfy my soul, and could not find anything of value for my soul until God, in his mercy, pursued me. For whatever reason, he chose me for his own, and he did it before the world began. And so he gave his son for me. He redeemed me. Christ obtained eternal redemption for me long before long before I was born. He obtained eternal redemption for me. And so God pursued me and brought me to himself. That's the testimony of every believer, every child of God. And that's the statement of Romans chapter 8, verse 28. We know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. God is a God of purpose. And most Christians really love and appreciate verse number 28. But if you read on the next two verses, the scripture said, for, or because, whom he did foreknow, them he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his Son. And whom he did predestinate, them he also called, and whom he called, them he also glorified. That's the eternal purpose of God, and he will effectually see it through to its dead end, to its living end, I should say. Isaiah 46 in verse 9 and 10, God said, I am God and there is none like me. I purpose and I bring it to pass. That's how God prophesies. He sets forth a purpose and he works in every single event that takes place upon the earth to bring about his purpose. And he's the God that I serve. I hope this song will bolster your faith and your confidence in a God of purpose who has a purpose in pursuing you, perhaps even now. God bless you. Thank you for your time.
Looking o'er his field, he saw her as she gathered scattered grain. Just a Moabitish woman seeking solace in her pain. Seeing more than just a widow, Boaz gave command so kind. Let fall handfuls of purpose till I make this stranger mine. Handfuls of purpose, plotted efforts of grace. Handfuls of purpose brought me to his sweet embrace. When I could not find fulfillment, doomed forever to be lost, handfuls of purpose brought this seeker to the cross. Just a poor and starving sinner, I gleaned all the world could hold, grasping here and there a morsel, sought in vain to fill my soul. But my kinsman redeemer loved this stranger in the field. He dropped handfuls of gospel glory till his purpose was revealed. Handfuls of purpose, plotting efforts of grace. Handfuls of purpose brought me to his sweet embrace. When I could not find fulfillment, doomed forever to be lost, handfuls of purpose brought this seeker to the cross.